What's up, guys? How are you? Happy Monday. Welcome into another episode of the Daily Juice Podcast with me, Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt, and we are back after a very profitable week. In fact, one of the most profitable weeks we've had in 2025 last week after Sunday goes really well to start, and then we kind of puckered out there at the end. 4-0 start, and then a 0-2 late night session for us. The Dallas Cowboys, what a game. Oh my gosh, what a game. Patriots win outright. Rams win outright. We get that. Lions blowout. Cincinnati was the lucky, oh my gosh, Joe Burrow got hurt, and then all of a sudden we get a late touchdown, and we cover the 3 there. And then Denver and Indy, my gosh, every game went over in week 2. Massive overcorrection for the books, and they got everybody because everyone who bet overs in week 1 lost. Everybody who bet unders in week 2 lost. So books doing their work. And then the Vikings and J.J. McCarthy look horrible. First half all over again, but this time for the entire game up against a Falcons team that really bounced back nicely after their loss to the Bucs. So 4-2 mark for us, up 1.7 units on the day. Overall, up over 10 units, 10.43 by my math for us last week. So that puts us nearly up. And by my math, I have us up, but I got to double check. But I think we're up over 40 units now for 2025, and a really good start to college, a really good start to the NFL for us here in the month of September. So June was our last losing month. We won in July. We won in August. We're off to a very good start here in September. So, slow and steady, right? We're not making, no one's getting rich off this stuff, but we're going slow, and, up 40 units at the moment is a really nice cushion as we get into what will be the difficult months in betting. What are those months? October, November, okay? Like October, November, there are so many things to bet on. The books have super sharp numbers in baseball. We get going with the NBA. We get going with the NHL early, which oftentimes can be a crapshoot. And then once the books have enough data to really start to sharpen their numbers, then it gets difficult betting the NFL, even college. So just understand, hey, these are the times you want to do well in September because football tends to get much more difficult in October and November from a betting perspective. You guys should know this by now, but in case you have not read above me with our friends at Hard Rock Bet as to what they are doing with us, Hard Rock Bet, they are the presenting sponsor of the Daily Juice Podcast. Hard Rock Bet is legal in the state of Florida. It's the only sports book in the state of Florida, but it's also available in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado. They will launch in Nevada and other states. You can also play the Hard Rock Bet online casino if you are living in the state of New Jersey. You can deposit $5, make a bet, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if that bet wins. So head on over to Hard Rock Bet, sign up, and make your first deposit today. Payable in bonus bets, not a cash offer, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida in Florida. Offered by Seminole Hard Rock LLC in all other states. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, New Jersey, Ohio, Tennessee, or Virginia to play. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling in Florida, call 888-ADMIT-IT. In Indiana, if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, New Jersey, Ohio, Tennessee, and Virginia. Okay, 2 Monday Night Football games here tonight. There's about 12 games left in the regular season for Major League Baseball. I'm going to kind of watch, I think, and there are certain teams battling for playoff position, so I think there are some opportunities later, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, for us to bet baseball. But with two Monday Night Football games tonight, I feel like, all right, let's not go too nuts here. Let's just bet the football games. And we don't need to have a gigantic card and play multiple things. And the WNBA playoffs are going on. And I understand there's a lot of things to bet on. But I'm just going to focus on the 2 football games, the Monday night games. One being in Vegas. I'm in New Hampshire. I'm not in Vegas, but obviously I've watched the Raiders a lot. And then we got the Texans hosting the Bucs. So 2 games to kind of get into there. So I've got a litany of plays for us just on Monday night. not baseball. We will do baseball tomorrow and Wednesday, and I know a lot of you guys are profitable and have been very profitable with us in baseball, and kind of, it's amazing. Last year, you guys, couldn't wait for me to stop betting baseball, and now people are getting frustrated and angry when I don't bet baseball, and you're like, why aren't we betting baseball? This has been so profitable, and I get all of that. I mean, baseball so far this year, we're 180. Our record, we're up 16.5 units for Major League Baseball. Our prop bets are 31-24. That's 56%. We're up 2.2 units. So overall in the year, we're up almost 20 units, which is pretty much what I lost last year in Major League Baseball when I lost 25 units in Major League Baseball. Now I'm up 20 units in Major League Baseball. So that's just the ebb and flow of all of this. One reason why we do the podcast, because we show you guys how crazy it is over time. Eventually it almost washes out. You lose 25 units, you win 25 units, and then, it washes out. So still got that ticket with the Brewers. We're still pulling for the Brewers at 27-1 to win the World Series. So baseball will be later on in the week. Let's start here talking about the first game in the Buccaneers taking on the Texans. Here's a great stat. I wanted to wait for week 1 to see if it was going to continue with DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud, but it has. The Texans last year went 13-4 against the number in the first half. That was by far the best mark in the NFL. They've got a knack. CJ Stroud has a knack. For whatever reason, they start fast. This is a big game for the Texans here today because, look, the Texans didn't look great in their opener, okay? And there's a lot of questions about this Texans football team. There's a lot of questions about DeMeco Ryan. They lost their first game on the road against the Rams 14-9. They scored 9 points. So tonight, home opener, huge opportunity for them to get right, get a win, but they're banged up. However, even with them being banged up, even with their offensive line not looking great and the Rams having a really good defense, they still covered in the first half last week. So now they're 1-0 ATS. In the second half, CJ Stroud and company, they don't play well. For whatever reason, they go into halftime. DeMeco Ryans does not make adjustments. The other team does, and it's been the story for the better part of 2 years now where the Texans don't play well in the second half and they play very well in the first half because the game script, they can script a game really well. They can script the first 2 series really well. So I'm going to follow that. It's only 1.5. First half, Texans, -1.5. It's -108 at DraftKings. Not a bad bet to get into. Hard Rock's got it as well. You can go and find this at a decent price. -108. I'm in New Hampshire, so I don't have access to Hard Rock at the moment, but DraftKings I have access to. -108. DraftKings for the first half to kind of follow the game script as to what we've seen over the last couple of months. Sorry. Wow. Let's change that. Oh, wow. Hold on. Sorry. My backdrop just totally decided to conk out. Hold on. You guys get to see how I do this live. Okay, that's back. Sorry. So we go with that. And so we go with a Texans team in the first half at -1.5 to have the lead at the break, use that game script, use the energy from the home opener, use the crowd. It's a hard place to play. I mean, Reliance Stadium's a hard place to play at times, and, they're excited. New season, football in Texas. First half, -1.5, Texans for 1.1 units with that, or -108 for 1.08 units coming up on that. Now, it is a teaser opportunity for us. Why? Second half. I just told you. The second half is not great for the Texans. The Bucs, under Baker Mayfield, they've played really well on the road. It's kind of crazy, but Baker Mayfield over the last 2 years is 6-3 straight up on the road, including last week's win on the road against the Falcons. And you might go, well, Matt, teams playing back-to-back road games, that's really tough. Look at the Panthers. The Panthers lost back-to-back. I mean, it's rare for the teams to open up back-to-back on the road. It doesn't happen all that often. The Chargers are doing that, but the Chargers played on the road overseas. Now they come back on the road to take on Vegas. It's rare to see teams be placed on the road in back-to-back true road games in back-to-back weeks, in week 1 and week 2 of the NFL. That's what the Bucs have. So let's look at Baker Mayfield on the road with the Bucs. He's 6-3 over the last 2 years, straight up on the road. This Bucs team, combined with the idea that the Texans don't play well in the second half, it's plus 2.5. This is a prime teaser opportunity. Take the 2.5 and go up to 8.5. The Bucs may win the game outright, but I think they'll be in the game late, and they'll have a chance to win the game coming down to the wire because the Texans play tight games all the time. I don't mind if you want to go and do a same game and just take the total up to about like 50.5 and take the under. I don't mind that. But given the fact that we've seen so much offense in week 2 of the NFL, I'm a little hesitant to do that. You can say, well, Matt, let's pull it down to, somewhere around like 38 and go over. Yeah, but 14-9. The Texans might play a dead under game because that's how they play. So I'm a little bit concerned about doing that. So I'd rather just go, okay, Bucs plus 8.5. Let's stay away from the total altogether with the game. And let's just go with the Bucs 8.5. Go ahead and take that coming up here on that. So that's how I'm playing the first game. We're going to go we're going to lay the 1.5 with the Texans in the first half. Bucs plus 8.5 for the game. Now, what are we going to do with the other side? I'll tell you about that here in just 1 second. Let's remind you, though, about what's going on with our betting systems. Have you guys checked out the new app that we have available? The BettingPros system is part of the BettingPros app. Our new betting systems, the tool is designed to help you find winning strategies and make smarter plays, customize your betting systems by sport, bet type, time frame, and find the best opportunities using real-time data and expert analysis. Track the performance of different betting systems over time and optimize your bets to increase your chances of success. Download the BettingPros app today or go to bettingpros.com/systems to elevate your betting strategies and start making better bets. So we go to the late game, and it's the Raiders hosting the Chargers. Couple kind of wild things on this. So the stats for Justin Herbert on the road at Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. He's played 5 times, 3-2 record. He's averaging about 260 yards per game through the air, 10 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, including a game back in 2021 in which he threw for 326 yards and 3 touchdowns. Well, this has got nothing to do with Geno Smith and nothing to do with Pete Carroll, but just an idea of like he has played better. He has played well against the Raiders on the road here. This Raider team, coming off a win against the Patriots, and their offense looked competent. I mean, absolutely competent. There is a bit of a worry, and I'll admit this, because the Chargers under Jim Harbaugh have been tremendous in the first couple of weeks. And overall, I mean, he's 13-5-1 ATS after beating the Chiefs in week 1. 13-5-1 ATS. That's an incredible mark. Here's a wild stat that the Action Network put out this week. Justin Herbert has made 82 starts in his career in the NFL. He's 42-40 straight up. When his defense allows 24 points or fewer, he's 34-12 straight up and 34-10-1 against the number. But when his defense allows more than 24 points, he's 13-29 straight up, 15-27 against the number. Why is that relevant? Because I think the Chargers defense is going to give up points to the Raiders. I think this offense is better than people think, and Brock Bowers is playing tonight for the Raiders, which is huge. The Raiders offense looked really good. The Patriots defense wasn't great, but the Raiders offense looked very good. Geno Smith looked very competent. They got a running back. Their offensive line is good enough. The receiving core is deeper than people think. I think they score. Watch out for the Raiders, and you want to go team total Raiders over, don't mind it tonight. Don't mind that at all tonight for the Raiders. I do think the Raiders are actually going to be in the game, but I'm going to take the total, and I'm going to pull the total down, and that's the other side of the teaser, okay? So the other side of the teaser is Bucs plus 8.5, over 40.5 for the Raiders and the Chargers. I think we do see offense. I think we do see scoring here tonight, and this game goes over 40.5 for the Bucs for the Chargers and the Raiders. I think both teams are going to have success offensively. On the flip side, I do think that we're going to see a Raider team in the second half have a chance to win this game. These two teams have played so many games tight. So many games have come down to a field goal. So many games have come down to one score. And Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh straight up hate each other. I mean, we're talking about hatred that goes all the way back, and I mean all the way back to college, USC and Stanford. This has come into the NFL with the Seahawks and the 49ers. This is now into the Raiders and the Chargers. Like, this is one of the most it's not hyped nearly as much as it should. Pete Carroll was asked to him, like, what does he like about Jim Harbaugh? What do you remember fondly about Jim Harbaugh? He said nothing. I don't remember anything. Nothing fondly about Jim Harbaugh. So this is great. This is a big game. It's the home opener for the Raiders. It's the home opener for Vegas. They're 1-0. And one of these teams, Chargers or the Raiders, are going to be 2-0. Denver lost stunningly yesterday. They lost to the Colts. How? I have no idea. How that flag came down to allow that kick to go from 60 yards to 45 yards. Colts win the game. Denver, bad loss. Denver's 1-1. The Chiefs are 0-2. One of these two teams will be 2-0 in the division, or 2-0 and leading the division and have a 2-game lead on the Chiefs. If the Chargers win, the Chargers are 2-0 in the division. 2-0 overall, but 2-0 in the division. This is the division opener for the Raiders. So for me, oh boy, this is a huge game for both these teams. I'm going to take the points. Give me a home dog in the NFL. I'll take the points. Raiders plus 3.5 with a shot to win the game late. Maybe, I think the Raiders have a really good chance. I think they probably, I like the Raiders again. I bet them last week. That hook matters to me. You can tease them up if you'd rather stay away from the total and just go 8.5. I don't mind that. But if I'm wrong with the Raiders, I don't want to kill two bets with that. And if the Chargers in Harbaugh come in and they win the game by 10 points and I'm dead wrong about the Raiders and it's same old for the Raiders, I don't want to do that. So I'd rather just lose one. Let's get the teaser right, and that will make up for it, because I do think we're going to see scoring from both the Raiders and the Chargers. Be very hard-pressed to see this being a low-scoring game. So I think that's where we get, kind of a make-up, if you will, as long as the Bucs do what I think they're going to do at plus 8.5. So that's how I'm sort of like gaming the system a little bit with this and kind of giving myself a little bit of a not a hedge, but of an out if I'm wrong as to how this game is going to go. If you would like to hear me talk more about this game here today, and we tape morning of, so this is Monday morning, coming up at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, my other show, The Bostonian versus the Book, we will do full preview of both Monday Night Football games. We'll go in depth on the weekend. We'll recap everything that happened in Week 2 of the NFL. Same thing for Week 3 of college football. I have a lot to say about what's going to happen for the Cowboys and the Giants outcome, how that went down. Unbelievable ending for the Patriots and the Dolphins. If you didn't see how that game ended in the fourth quarter, 41 points in the fourth quarter. I thought that was going to be the game of the day. They said hold my beer when it came to the Giants and the Cowboys. 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Search at Boston versus the Book on Twitter and X. We go live. The chat's a lot of fun to be in. If you like interacting with people who bet on sports, come on over to the live chat starting today at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you missed it, you can go back and watch the replay on YouTube at Boston versus the Book for a full preview of Monday Night Football for both games and a recap of Week 2 of the NFL and Week 3 of college football. 2 prop bets that we're going to give you guys coming up here for today, and it goes right back to what I talked about with Justin Herbert and what his numbers are passing at Allegiant Stadium. He's been tremendous, absolutely tremendous at Allegiant Stadium, and I think he continues here against a secondary for the for the Raiders, which is not very good. Justin Herbert with 10 touchdown tosses to 3 interceptions in Allegiant Stadium. I think that continues. I think Herbert will throw a lot here. I like Justin Herbert to go over 1.5 touchdown tosses at minus 125 for 0.63 units. Bet that to win a half a unit. And it's the same thing. It's going to be a rinse and repeat situation when it comes to Ashton Jeanty. I like Ashton Jeanty anytime touchdown to have him score here in the red zone. We took it in week 1. It cashed. I'm taking it in week 2. I think it'll cash. He's the second option. Hampton's the number 1 option for anytime touchdown on the board. Jeanty's number 2. I think he will get the football either in a screen. He'll get the football on a draw. He'll be the red zone bell cow for this offense. We saw it in week 1. I like the over, so I like offense. Ashton Jeanty, minus 110 to get into the end zone. Bet that to win a half a unit for us here on Monday. All right, so our plays to recap for Monday. Texans in the first half at minus 1.5 at minus 108. The Bucs plus 8.5 teased up. Over 40.5 for the Chargers, and the Raiders. We're taking that total down from 46.5 and going over 40.5. Raiders plus 3.5 for the game. I think the Raiders could win the game outright against the Chargers. Justin Herbert over 1.5 touchdown tosses, and Ashton Genty anytime touchdown for us on a Monday. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all my socials at Sports Talk Matt every morning wherever you guys get your podcasts. It is the Daily Juice.